Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Balloon Talk Tuesday. Here we are again. Super excited to be back with everyone. So this morning what we're going to do is I'm going to answer a lot of questions that people had last week. So if you was with us last week and you saw our organic arch that we made and our columns and the different things like that, well, we had lots of questions about that. So today what I'm going to do is answer some of those questions. Probably one of the biggest questions that we had on there was, how do you double stuff? So I'm going to show that real quick here, how to put one balloon inside the other to get the special effects of the balloons that I was showing. And very quick, very easy. If you can use a little balloon straw. Okay, this is just a regular balloon stick. I'm sorry. So I myself like to put just a little piece of tape over the top because, as you can see, the ends are kind of rough like sometimes. And I don't want to poke a hole in the balloon that I'm stuffing inside because you'll see here. So the quickest way to double stuff a balloon is you take, last week what I was showing, and I'm using the jewel tones again today, and I was using the jewel tones and stuffing up inside our new chrome balloons. So I'm just inserting the straw inside. I like to, as you can see here, take it right all the way up to the center, and you just want to pull this down. Okay, so you want to pull it down, then you take your other 11-inch balloon, and you just take the neck, pull it down, let go, and inflate. There it is. So also, when you're doing a double stuffed balloon, when you inflate it, you don't need to tie both necks. I'm going to go ahead and inflate this, and I'm going to show you. So just inflate your balloon. Okay. Now that you've inflated the balloon, there's no reason to tie both. It's very hard when you have both of the necks here. So what you want to do, the balloon that you put inside, you want to pull that one out, and that's the only one that you need to tie. Okay, so you just tie it off. Okay, and actually it'll kind of go back up inside so you don't have that ugly neck sticking out. And of course I do tie, when I do these, I do put the ribbon around both necks. Always double knot to make sure that it's on there good and it's not going to slip off, and there you go. Okay. I'm also going to show you one other one here, how to double stuff, because I am going to be using a 3-footer here. I'm just going to kind of tie this one back over here this morning, out of the way. Because I'm also going to be making a column for you guys today, because that was also a request that we had to show how to make the column. So in my column that I'm going to be making here a little bit later, after I show you a few other things, I used a pearl magenta, and I'm using the chrome gold. Well, 3-footer in the magenta, of course all I had back here was a jewel tone one. So I didn't want to use a jewel tone because, as everybody knows, the jewel tone are the clear, the see-through. So I wanted to make it look kind of pearlized also. So I actually used 2 3-footers. There's a lot of different ways. Like I said, you can also, take your balloon, work down it, pull it apart, stick the other one in. To me, that's really hard to do. So I just take my 3-footer that I'm going to put in the inside, and I'm just rolling it. You can see that. Okay. Just rolling it up. So now that you get it rolled up, it's like this. I just take the neck, and it just goes right down inside. Okay. Then I like to grab a hold of the tip of it and just pull it down, shake it out where I had it rolled up, and there you go. Very quick, easy. Insert it inside, and it's ready to blow up. Same thing with the 3-footer. There is no way that you're going to try to tie both necks. There's never a reason to do that. Always remember, the balloon in the inside, pull it out, tie it. So it makes a very pretty satiny look, almost like the pearlized. So you'll see that when I build the column, the effect that we got from this. My other question that I got was about the curly ribbons. How do you do the curlies? The curly ribbons. So I wasn't exactly sure which one you were talking about. I think that maybe a lot of people think that this was also curly ribbons, because we showed this last week also. So I don't know if this is what they were talking about, because this is not ribbon. This is actually, it's the wired floral wire that you can use in arrangements and floral work, decor work, balloon work, baskets, whatever you want to put it on. You can use it for so many different things. But it is actually, and I did show this again, so it actually is a wire. See, it's kind of stiff. It's very bendable. So I'm going to show both. I'm going to show how we do that here in just a minute. And then, of course, I don't know if they were talking about just the curlies that was on the bubble balloons from last week, because all of the bubble balloons that we showed last week had these curlies on them from the ribbon. So I don't know if that's what you were talking about. So to answer your question, if you actually was talking about the curly ribbon, the ribbon that I use is the metallic or the sparkle ribbon. And when you pull it off the spool, which you actually seen when I did this one up here, when you pull that ribbon off, when you're using that, and I like to use the sparkle, the glittery, I think it just adds a little more to your balloons, and that's what I use almost on all my balloon work. You don't have to curl it. When you pull it off and you tie it, as you've seen, I did not curl that. It just curls on its own. So when even when you make them longer, so if you just pull it off the spool, however long you want it, whatever length you want it in, and I did about 4, I think here, 3 different colors, so there's 6 little curls here, and then I just took them in, put them in between the balloons, and pulled them down, and voila, they're already curly. So you don't have to curl those if that's what you're talking about. Now, if you're using the just regular ribbon, it does not curl like that. So yes, you would have to curl it with your scissors. But when you're using the metallic and the sparkle ribbon, those just have a tendency that's what they do when you take them off the spool. So those you don't have to worry about curling. So now back to this one over here. So if that was your question, and if this is what you're talking about, this is not ribbon, but I'm going to show you how to curl this a really simple way, really easy, and it kind of keeps it all uniform, because when you bend it, as you can see, it's kind of hard then to get it straightened back out. You see little bumps and humps in it and things like that. So what I like to do, this is just one of our Lomi columns that I use. You can use anything. You can use different size depending on how tight you want the curl. So if you want it a little tighter than that, then use a tube or a stick of some sort that's a little smaller in diameter and just wrap it around. If you want a bigger, then of course, same thing, a bigger tube or something like that. So what I do is I just take the floral wire and I pull off a little piece to get started. And just kind of to hold it in place when I first start, I'll just take a little piece of tape and on my tube or whatever I'm using, and then it's very easy because you can push, well, when the tape don't pop off. Okay, so then what you do is just to get it started, I like to kind of get it going here, pressing it down, and you just press it down and you just go. Okay, and if you want it closer together, you can push it up so that it's not and go, or you can make it a little longer. So it's up to you how big you want the loops to go, and you just go all the way down your tube. Okay? So when you get it all the way down the tube the way you want it, then of course you just cut it off. I'm not going to go all the way down. You guys get the gist of it here. And even though it is a wire, it's a floral wire, you can still cut it with scissors. Okay? And then when you're done with it, I do like the little end. I like to bend it up because it's a little sticky there. It's a little, you don't want to pop balloons if you're working with balloons. So then you just take it off. Once you slide it off the pole, here's one that's already done. So now it's already done for you. All you want to do is, I just took my Lomi dish before I start working. And then just kind of bend this in, and there you go. So you're ready and you're set to go. So you can go ahead putting your balloons, your bows, your ribbons, whatever you want to put on it, flowers, whatever you're working with. But that's a quick, easy way to use the floral wire to make your little curlies, your little spiral. And then if you want to make some little ones like this, the same thing. Actually, if you just want something little, you can wrap it around your finger to make those curlies. You can have another little rod or a little pole that's smaller and just wrap it around it. So you can make them any size that you want. So I hope that answers your questions on the curly ribbons. I hope I answered your questions on the double stuffing, stuffing one balloon up inside the other. If you have any other questions on that, if it's something that I didn't explain well enough to you, please let me know. The other question that we got was, of course, like I said, how do you make the column? So I went ahead and pre-inflated some balloons, and real quick we're going to put a column together so everybody understands how to make a column. There's all different kinds of columns. You can do stacked columns, you can do swirled columns, just all different ones. We're just going to do a real simple swirl with just 2 colors. You could have a 4-color swirl, you could do a 5-color, but we're just going to keep it simple with 2. It's a lot easier to follow. And so we're going to show that one. And the other question I got, which I'm going to talk about it for a little bit because I'm going to be using it in the column, is what kind of bases did we use? So, so the bases we used, okay, and I think these are 10 inches by 10 inches, I believe. They are metal. So, and then they have the little poles, and it comes, each base comes with 4 poles. Each pole is 18 inches. So you can show, here. So this way you can actually make your column any size that you want. It depends on how tall you want it, if you're going to use it for a table. When we did the organic arch last week, I think we only did 3 high is what we did because we were setting it on top of a table. So, but of course, if you're not setting it on the table, you can make it higher. If you want to make it all the way up. So like I said, it's 72 inches because each one of these are 18 inches. So by the time if you would put all 4 of them on here, then you would have 72 inches, about 6 feet tall here. The top one has the little black tab in it there. So I put that one in there, and I don't want to do that yet. And there's only 1 in them. So our bases come, there is 2 bases. Each base, like I said, has a set of 4 poles. And then they also come, these are little weights. So the weights are designed that you can fill these with water. It has the little hole here. So you would either fill them with water or with sand, whichever you prefer. So if you need some extra weight, and when we did the table one, we did use the weight on the base because we have 1 pole coming up and we have the aluminum rod going over, which makes it a little top heavy. So you want make sure you want to have a weight on it if you're doing something like that. So if you're just making it for inside for an arch or something, you don't necessarily have to put the weight on it unless you feel more comfortable making it a little bit more sturdy. Then you can add it. So it's a round weight. It fits right over the base here for the extra weight if you need that. So those come in a set. Like I said, when you get them, you're going to get 2 bases. You're going to get, which would be 8 sections then, and 2 of these. So we do have these, and they are in stock. My other question while I'm talking was, wow, I love the balloons. I love your bases. How do I get them? You order them. You can go to our website. Like I always tell you, it's just www.balloonroomonline.com. You can place your order online, or you can call us and order them, or you can also send us a fax and order them. So very easy. You can online, call, or fax. So keep that in mind. And yes, everything that I show you, all of our product, every single thing that we have in this warehouse is online on our website. So check it out. We have amazing things coming in every single day. Check out what's coming, check out what's new, because we can't keep up with it all. There's so many new things coming in. So I'm just going to set this over here out of the way. I hope I'm answering everybody's questions. If there's a question that I didn't answer or I overlooked, because we had lots and lots of comments, and we love all your comments. So please, this morning if you're on here, let us know you're on here. You know, comment, like us, send us some love, send us lots of hearts. And like I said, if you do have a question, and just comment, and we'll try to get to it and get it answered for you. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to put together really quick 2-color spiral column. And like I said, these are the bases so you guys can see how they look. So that's the base. And I'm not going to go and make it all the way taller. You're going to get the gist of it with that. So I have pre-inflated my balloons over here. And then now I want to talk about when you're doing your column, how important it is, unless you're doing an organic one. So I guess we're going to talk about both here. But the first one, the column that people was asking about was the more precise, not the organic, just your regular swirled column with a 3-foot foil on the top or a big 3-foot balloon on top. So with this one, if you are doing just a regular standard column, you want to inflate your balloons, and you want to make sure that your balloons are all sized exactly the same size. So we have back here, and I know you guys have seen us use these, and I talk about them all the time. So you can use either just a regular air inflator that we have down here. But with this air inflator that we have down here, you do need a sizer. So whatever size you deem to inflate your balloons. These balloons are probably inflated to about 9 inches, is what I inflated these 2 that I'm using today. I know that's always the big question, what size should my balloons be inflated to? People will say 8 inches, and these are 11-inch balloons that I'm using. So people all the time, if you ask everybody, everybody's going to tell you a different size. I like mine at 8, I like mine at 9, I like mine at 10. I would never inflate them to the 11 inches, because when you inflate them to 11 inches, they start to pare out a little bit on the bottom. So when you start making your arch, you're going to see that they're kind of paring out and they kind of push up a little bit, and you see more of the holes through it. So you want something that's nice and round. I prefer 9 inches. That's kind of an in-between. So there's a couple different ways. Everybody has a different way how they build their arch. I'm going to show you how I prefer to build it. A lot of people, though, they like to take the 2, we've inflated them, tied them together. It doesn't matter. You could have tied the gold together. You could have tied the pearlized magenta together. As long as you've got 2 and 2. Okay, it doesn't matter. So a lot of people like to put them together, knot to knot, twist it one time, put it around the pole, and twist it. But now you want to make sure to do the swirl that what you're doing is you've got them opposite each other, okay? So a lot of people prefer that's the method that they use, and that's fine. That was the method that we were taught. There's also, which I prefer to do, because it's a lot quicker and it's a lot easier. So what I like to do, instead of doing all of that, and this is a little quicker, so I like to come around, okay? I'm just going to put this. Now you can see I've got the gold. To get our swirl going, we want to put this on here, and I want to turn it 1/4 to the right. So you can see that I'm going to be swirling this way. And you can see that I went around the pole on this back side. Okay? So since I went around on this side to lock these and make these stay, this one here is going to go on this side, just the opposite. So, and of course, to get the swirl going, you can see that you want these opposite. So we have to have the gold, the magenta, gold, magenta, and then just gently push it down. That's it. So now we're going to get this going. And if you just kind of look when you put it on, see, I'm following what's right underneath it. Then I'm going to let it go one time over. Now you see you've got gold, magenta. You want to flip this, you want it to be opposite. Push it down. Okay? And once you do several of these, you really get the hang of it. You don't have to think, you just know it needs to be opposite. Okay? See here, here. Now you know I want the burgundy, I'm sorry, not burgundy, it's magenta. Okay? Same thing, we're going back to gold, magenta, one time. Now I go in this way, but I want it to be opposite. And you want to make sure you go all the way to the top of the column. And yes, it will fit. What I do like to do, though, when I get to the top, I do like to go back to the back here. I like to do this, and I like to put my twist in. It just kind of helps lock all of this in. So now I put this on, and I give it one round the pole. Make sure we're lined up here, that we got our twist going on. Our swirl, I'm sorry. So, are we going straight here? We got it. Also, if you stand back and you look at it, you see that it's out of whack and the spiral's not going. Maybe this one's over here like this, or some which you can always switch them on the pole. Even if it's down here in the middle, you can still line them up and get them going the right way. Okay. So that's the simple column. And then I have over here, this is a 3-footer that I double stuffed. So it's a pretty good match, don't you think? And but if I had not have double stuffed, what I would have had would just been the magenta clear see-through. So by putting the silver, the 30-inch silver, up inside, it gives it the same finish as the magenta. So what I like to use then, of course, is a 260. And I just tie it around the balloon. And I really don't like to put my balloon on the floor. I don't want it to pop, but I want you guys to see this. Okay, so you want to put this on here. You want to knot it, tie it very tight. Okay, and everything is air-filled. The big balloon on top, everything is air-filled. So now what I did was, I've got my 260s. One side, you go down between the balloons. You want to go down, you want to catch, go down a couple. Pull it down very snug. Okay, now I'm just going to tie this. Okay, and make sure you tie it in a knot. Okay, now when you're finished with it, just let go and it disappears. And there you go. So a very quick, easy, simple column. We use the base place that I showed you. So I'm going to move this one over here out of the way. So the other one that everybody asked about was the Organtic. And same thing, like I said, we use the same base, the same poles. So and I'm going to show you here real quick. I put a weight on this one. Yes, I know this is a black weight. This is one we just had laying here. And this is not the one that comes with the kit. When you get the kit, you get white. But this was laying over here, so I just went ahead and I picked it up. So for the top, I just want to show you real quick. We just used a piece of aluminum rod. The aluminum rod is straight. I guess I should have brought over a straight piece. And this is 1/4 inch aluminum rod that we used. I guess you could use whatever you wanted to use. Some people even use monofilament line for the top piece. But remember, if you are using monofilament line and putting it into your base, you are going to have some kind of support, whether it be with a monofilament line and a magnet, to make sure that it stays up. So if you have it on framework, you can see that ours is all freestanding over there. So the aluminum rod, you might want to check with some of your fabricating shops, welding shops, different places like that. They can get in, and it's 1/4 inch aluminum rod in a 12-foot section is how we find it. So you might want to check around and see what's available. So, but ours comes in a 12-foot piece, and we use it a lot when we're doing arches and just different things like that, making big circles or whatever. So I just cut off a piece of it, which, like I said, it's straight. And you just kind of, however you want it to go, you just kind of bend it. This is something that you can actually bend with your hand. It's very easy to bend. So that's the reason why we use the aluminum rod. So we went ahead and we built our column, and I've got some balloons inflated over here. So we're just going to real quickly talk about that here. And then once you finish up your column, and you can actually make this if you want before you actually put it together. It's up to you, or you can go ahead and put it in here and then build it. It's whichever way you want to do it. Now once we built the top, where we had the balloons going here and coming up here, I also took a 260 and secured by, like I just tied in the big 3-footer, the balloons from the top and the balloons from the bottom, I kind of tied them all in together so it secured it top and bottom. So if you're making it on site, that's great. If you make it, you can make it in 2 pieces and take the pole and take the top and then tie it in once you get to where you're going. So anyway, that's the base. And that's what we use, and that's the, we just use the piece of a 1/4 inch aluminum rod. So I'm going to lay this down over here. Now, with an organic column or an organic arch or an organic centerpiece, I don't think there's any rhyme or reason. I don't know. Maybe somebody that first started making these has a formula. I don't know. I find that most people I talk to, or most people that do it, they just start blowing up balloons, and they just kind of just blow them all different sizes and start putting them on their bases, their poles, their aluminum rod. So, and you just kind of have to eye it and look at it, and even after you get your balloons on, all the different sizes, then you stand back and you look at it and say, oh, I need another balloon here, I need a balloon here, I need a balloon there. So you just kind of eye it. So, and if you haven't tried one, just get some balloons and just blow them up. Just blow balloons different sizes and just kind of put them on. Some of the bigger ones you want to start off with at the bottom with some small ones, and you just kind of want to add in as you go. So, and you just kind of tie them every which way. So, we'll get some started here, just to give you an idea of how to do it. So after this, I want everybody to try doing an organic column or an organic arch or an organic centerpiece. And when you do, just kind of, not kind of, but please take a picture and just share it with us. We'd love to see, because everybody's is different. Even if you made that same one over again, there's going to be something different about it. So anyway, I'm just going to throw some balloons out here. Wasn't sure here, so we just blowed up some that was all different sizes, different colors here. Then you just kind of get started and you just go with it. And then of course then if you say, oh, I need something here, I need something there, then of course you just go back. You just push it in. So like I said, I do like to start with the bigger balloons, at the bottom. So I go through and pick out a few little bigger balloons for at the bottom. And we just kind of go with it. Now, I think I'm going to put one more maybe down here at the bottom, because you want the bottom just to be a little bigger at the bottom than it is at the top. So I really can't see which way we're going here. Okay. There's something just to kind of get it started. And then you just kind of just go. of course, my partner, she's not helping me today. She's sitting over there videoing. So,
looks good from here.
so we're just kind of playing around here this morning, just kind of putting some together. And like I said, there's not really no rhyme or reason. And when I'm doing it, she tells me, you're getting too precise there. You need to kind of let go and get wild, have some big ones in there, some little ones in there. So, and you just go. And like I said, after you get it all done, and of course, as you start getting up to the top, as you can see, we still got the other one up. If you can kind of, once you start getting up to the top, then you can see as it kind of starts getting down to the end, then you might want to put smaller. Start making the balloon smaller. So, and that's pretty much how it goes. Any questions? If you have any questions, please let us know. That one's going to pop off because I'm at the top, so let's scroll it around here. See if that one will stay on, just to kind of show you. And I'm not going to go ahead and build the whole thing, because what you do is the exact same thing with that aluminum rod. You just start and you just go. Well, that one's not going to stay on without putting the top on it. So then once you get it all built, then you stand back and you look at it and you go, well, I need one here. Oh, I got to have one right here. You come over here and you say, oh, I need to stick another one in here. So that's pretty much how it's done. So I want all of you that's watching to go on and make one and send us a picture of your creation that you made. So I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Have a wonderful day, and be sure to tune in next week to see what we're up to. Bye, everyone.